Yo, what's good, everybody? What's good for another financial corner? And today we are going to talk about the basics a little bit. Hold on, let me get set up for y'all. Because, first of all, hopefully everybody's having a good Tuesday. Give me a second. I should have had this set up already, but I did not. So, forgive me. All right, so we're gonna go over inflation, stagflation, the job numbers, some marijuana stocks, and then we're gonna finish up looking at the market today. I sent out earlier. I had sent out just a little snippet of graphs of what the portfolio is looking like with the end of the year and the beginning of the year, and what the markets are looking like for me. And right now, things are just off to the races right now, so I'm kind of interested to see what the after March, what the future holds, because then by time then the tapering should be done by March. So once they raise interest rates, it's definitely, and I've said this last time, it's going to be interesting to see what the stock market, how the stock market reacts. But as of right now, once again, energy might be leading the way. So energy led last year, I believe, and it looks like energy might be off again today. So, but let's look at inflation. So the reason why I'm doing this is so that people can understand what inflation is. And like I said, all I did was Google, look up the definition. That's it. Same thing for stagflation and the job numbers. We're going to tie it all together. But people need to understand the basics of inflation, the basics of stagflation. You know what I mean? So because, a lot of people sit there and wonder, well, prices shouldn't be that high or whatever the case may be. Well, you have a lot of things going on right now since 2020 and up till now that's been causing a whole lot of turmoil. And, no one knows when the end is in sight, so to speak, with everything going on. So, yo, Bus, appreciate the sub, fam. What's going on, brother? All right, what is inflation? Inflation is the decline of purchasing power of a given currency over time. A quantitative estimate of the rate at which the decline in purchasing power occurs can be reflected in the increase of an average price level of a basket of goods and services in an economy over some period of time. The rise in the general level of prices, often expressed as a percentage, means that a unit of currency effectively buys less than it did prior periods. Inflation can be contrasted with deflation, which occurs when the purchasing power of money increases and the prices decline. So, obviously, we are in an inflation period. Most of y'all should know that by now. And the interesting part of this statement is where you guys see it, is where it says at which the decline of purchasing powers occurs can be reflected in the increase of an average price level. So, and it also says that, the often expressed as a percentage means that a unit of currency effectively buys less than it did in prior periods. So $1 last year is not the same as $1 this year, which is definitely true, because if you look at all the money that was printed to give people stimulus so that the economy itself didn't reach rock bottom, the feds were just printing trillions of dollars and obviously, soaking up that debt. And now with the end of the feds, once they stopped with the stimulus and with the stopping of the buying of the debt, right now the inflation is still pretty high. No telling when the inflation will come down. You see what I'm saying? They had a target of, I believe in the beginning they had a target of 2% inflation, and now it's even higher than that. So they're gonna have to raise interest rates to try to control the inflation. But there are certain things, and I'm gonna say this, and I've said this last time, we've all been around. Well, if y'all as old as me, I know I'm not that old, but You know, I remember when gas was 99 cents, when oatmeal cream pies were 25 cents, you know, where certain things were 50 cents here, 75 cents here. Barely anything like that is around anymore. You might even have gas being the average $3 a gallon. The national average gas might be $3 a gallon. That might be the standard, because remember, you know, when it was up to $2 a gallon, people were screaming. It's about to be $3 a gallon. Some people in certain places got it at $5 a gallon in certain places. You know what I'm saying? When a gallon of milk used to be like 2 something, you know what I mean, or 1 something. Now a gallon of milk could be $4 or $5 depending on where you at. You know what I mean? And we're also going to talk about the wage increase, because we're not going to talk about anything in depth, but just kind of scrape the surface so that everybody has an understanding of what's going on, because everybody needs to have an understanding of what's going on the base level, so you know how to spend your money and put your money in the right position so that you can make moves if need be, period. Just point blank, period. So, yo, what's going on, fam? Yeah, man, I'm trying to start this. We're going to talk about a lot of the basic stuff today. So, I'm trying to get it in there, brother. All right, so key takeaways from inflation. Inflation is the rate at which, okay, we already read that. We're going to go to the most common used inflation indexes are the CPI, Consumer Price Index, and the Whole Price Index. Now, if you're in the stock market like I am, I see those numbers, and to me, honestly, I even simplify inflation even better that I could understand it. I look at it this way, right? When you go to the store and prices are higher than what they usually be and they don't come back down, that is inflation. You see what I'm saying? But if you are in the stock market, it can be to your advantage. Why? Because there are certain companies that do well during inflation times, aka when it comes to food and when it comes to fuel. Everybody needs food, everybody needs fuel. And when it comes to inflation, in my opinion, like Walmart, Costco, you know, it's almost like a defense mechanism against inflation, because people will still have to go to those places to buy items, meaning their stocks won't get hit as hard. You know what I mean? So, because if you look at the companies that did well, you know, in 2020 and did well in 2021, you know what I mean? Some of those same companies might not do well once they raise interest rates, but the ones that do well, period, across the board are the ones that, you know, if you look at Apple, you know, Tesla's done pretty well across the board. What else we have? Microsoft has done pretty well across the board. Even we could look at Amazon across the board. Like I said, Walmart across the board, Costco, Nvidia, any of the chip stocks across the board, even though there's a shortage. So there are companies there that do very well regardless of what's going on. And usually those are the stocks that I look for, are the stocks that have a good ground base, that regardless of what happens, inflation, recession, doesn't matter what happened, they're going to survive it. You see what I'm saying? So understand, when it comes to, let's read it, inflation can be viewed positively or negatively depending on the individual viewpoint and the rate of change. Those with tangible assets, let me say this again, those with tangible assets like property and stock commodities may like to see some inflation as that raises the value of their assets. So let me read that again. Clearly, those with tangible assets like property or stocked commodities may like to see some inflation as that raises the value of their assets. And remember, with that statement, places like Walmart and all that, any kind of stores, they pass on the high prices to the consumers because the consumer is going to pay for it anyway, which means that, you know, the company is not going to soak up those losses. If, you know, if they have to pay more for a product to get the item in, they're just going to pass it along. And yes, Although prices might go up, but the company is still going to make a profit either way. Because if it used to cost Walmart 50 cents, now it's costing them $1. They're going to be like, all right, then we're going to charge a consumer $1.50. They still going to come out with their money. You see what I'm saying? So, but that is the key though, because if you look at property, when you look at property like real estate, look at what rent is looking like right now. So if you have a rental property, rent's going up. It's been going up. And unfortunately, rent's not coming back. Let me say this again. Rent is not coming back down. You see what I'm saying? It takes a long while, before inflation comes down where prices can be somewhat stable. But in my opinion, going forward, whatever the rent is now, you might not see it any less from now on. You're probably going to go see it higher, not lower. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say this is because this is also going to roll into the jobs numbers as well once we look at that. So, like I say, tangible assets, that is the key. This is why I say, having a lot of cash on hand is dead money. As long as you have your so-called emergency fund, and then, you try to, life insurance is an asset. You know what I mean? It is an asset. Your money can appreciate in a policy, in a, whole life insurance policy. You know what I mean? Depending what type of policy it is. But the thing is, if there's a lot of inflation, the dollar, having cash is worthless. Being able to have cash flow, like it says, tangible assets, stock, commodity, or, real estate, some type of property, it definitely will help you, portfolio wise. So, but like I said, we're just talking about basic stuff today, nothing in depth. And then of course, at the end, we're going to talk about the stock market and certain stocks, marijuana stocks I got for y'all, and some information about that. So, all right. So stagflation. Let's look at what is stagflation. So, all right, let me see anybody on. Okay. All right, stagflation. Stagflation is characterized by a slow economic growth and relatively high unemployment, or economic stagnation, which is the same time accompanied by rising prices, i.e. inflation. Stagflation can be alternatively defined as a period of inflation combined with a decline in GDP. So, you have this tug of war, when you have economists talk about stagflation and inflation, because of course the GDP is not going to be growing as much because of what happened in 2020. Obviously, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to be y'all know what's going on, what happened in 2020. Now it's carried over in 2021. It's going to be even carried over more in 2022 because of the different changes in the variants. You see what I'm saying? So let's see what key takeaways from stagflation, right? Stagflation refers to an economy that is experiencing a simultaneous increase in inflation and a stagnation of economic output. Stagflation was first recognized during the 1970s when many developed economies experienced rapid inflation and high unemployment as a result of oil shock. I wonder what's going on right now, but that kind of sounds like close. I mean, the unemployment numbers, I believe, is like just above 6%. Actually in November alone, let me go look at this because I actually clipped this particular deal. In November, a record 4.5 million Americans quit their job in November. Now that could be for a various different types of jobs, but the thing is that you have unemployment that's still pretty decently high. Now, I will always say this: when it comes to minorities, the unemployment is higher than the actual number that they always sit here and spit out that you guys see on these news channels or financial deals. They never spit out the number. They just spit out the general number. They never spit out the number, how it disparages between men, women, minorities, etc. Because the numbers are higher in certain categories. You see what I'm saying? So that 6% number, yeah, okay, it's 6%. But when you go deeper, you have minorities that might be at 8, 9%, maybe 10%. You might have women unemployed that might be unemployed more than men. You know what I mean? If you try to break it down by different pieces here and there. And that's the way how I look at it, is when you break it down into separate pieces where the target unemployment is at, because that's also going to dictate where in the states where you live at, where, you see low poverty. You see what I'm saying? When you have, when you have poverty areas where, unemployment's high. You see what I'm saying? And it's usually in minority neighborhoods, usually in, African American areas that have high poverty areas. You know what I mean? So with the unemployment high, you know what I mean, and certain areas of poverty, it's gonna be real rough. And those are kind of like the small statistics I like to look at, when they come out with their report every month. You know what I mean? So, but it is important to understand inflation, stagflation, because it's going to help you understand why the prices are so high. As well, y'all know we have shipping issues going on, the backlog. Things still haven't smoothed out yet. No telling when that's gonna smooth out, because if you have limited supply and not enough people employed, now you're going to be working people harder, longer, and then you're still gonna have less supply, which means prices are gonna go up, which is inflationary prices in certain areas. So, all these things happening is a reason why inflation and all our prices the way the way it is. So, when you have to buy this type of item and you're trying to haggle for, it's like, look, this person, and it's, when it comes to the little guy, and I'm gonna say it like this: when it comes to small businesses, they usually end up getting hurt, because with small businesses are the backbone of the American economy. You know what I mean? But when it comes to times like these, at times corporations can usually outlive the small businesses, depending. You know what I mean? So if a small business doesn't have a certain way to get capital, obviously it's gonna go bankrupt. You see what I'm saying? But when a smaller guy can't get certain items for the same price as a corporation, you can't expect that smaller guy to sell it for the same price as a corporation, and he's gonna have, he's gonna make money. It's not gonna work that way. You know what I mean? I try to tell people all the time, when it comes to, your business or whatever you're doing, the small business might not be able to get things at a certain price like a bigger business or bigger corporation can, because a bigger corporation can afford that volume, which makes the price less, versus a small business where it does not work. That small business might not be able to get it in that type of volume, so they have to charge more, not to mention with shipping and everything else. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But like I said, it's we need to all understand why these prices are high, and we also need to get to understanding that these prices might be the new standard of living. You know what I mean? So don't be surprised if these prices don't come down. If certain areas do come down, fine. If other areas don't, it don't. But as we've seen in the past, up till now, there are certain things that's just not gonna go down. You know what I mean? And as you can see, stagflation, the way how the definition reads, it is almost similar to what we have going on right now. Inflation is definitely what we got going on right now. So, and also, okay, since the 1970s, rising price levels during periods of slow or negative economic growth have become somewhat of the norm rather than exceptional situation. So that it's literally what they're talking is this. How the economy can every time has its downs, has its ups, has downs, has its ups. You know what I mean? Because before what happened in 2020, I believe it was the housing crisis in 2008 that it took almost a decade for things to finally recover and things were looking all good. In 2018 and in 2018 it was really taking off. 2019 was really taking off. Of course you had the bubble, the .com bubble, but the housing bubble definitely in 2008 definitely had a resonating effect in the market, for at least a better part of a decade. So no telling how long this process is going to take before, things kind of get back on track and, get back to, well, we don't even know what normal is, to be honest. With everything going on, what is truly normal? You know what I mean? So, all right, let's look at the December when it talks about the jobs in December. All right, key factors. In a perfect world, there would be more jobs than workers so that everyone who wants a job could get one. Realistically, because of skills mismatches and other obstacles like the geographic location of available jobs, there are always going to be imbalances between supply and demand. Has only exacerbated this as large groups of potential workers, notably aging baby boomers who have retired in large numbers than usual, and women who have forego work because of family caregiving needs, have elected to drop out of the labor market. But something else has happened. After suffering the steepest quarterly decline in history, economic output rebounded sharply and quickly. Trillions of dollars in fiscal and monetary stimulus from Washington, but also globally stoked consumer demand. Companies found themselves far short of workers. Demand for goods have skyrocketed. Okay, so I know this has been a very steep argument when it comes to, was it the stimulus or is it the government assistance and the government giving out the stimulus the reason why workers weren't going back to work, with the whole with the giving of, was it the so much money a month, and then they came back with a child tax care credit, and then of course there was the Rescue Act and stuff like that. There were companies saying that, well, there's people making more money on unemployment and what the government was giving them versus working an actual job. And probably, you know what I mean? Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. Give me one second. All right. So, as we were saying, companies are wondering, well, is the government's fault for giving up all this money and people won't come back to work and this and that and whatever the case may be. But with everything happening, people had to find ways, had to find hustles, had to find, other means to make money. And a lot of people have found out they can do what they like away from the, the corporate world or whatever their jobs had. And still make a living. You know what I mean? So yes, you probably have a lot of people that with everything going on, that they're more hesitant to go back to the workplace, depending. You have now that people want to, the whole work from home trend um is not going away. I mean, you hear that all the time. People would rather work from home than actually go into the office, and if it's feasible for them to still perform at home the same way or better than in the office, then why can't they do it from home? You know what I'm saying? And of course, that all depends on your occupation and what you do. But I believe the work from home trend is not going anywhere, especially if there are younger kids involved. Because of the fact that, you know, being able to, because daycare, I mean, childcare, same thing, but childcare is a lot of money depending on where you're at. And of course, with everything still going on, you know, prices have probably raised for childcare because of what's going on, because of the extra cleaning they have to do, the protocols that have to happen, you know what I mean? So that, you know, all the kids stay safe, you know what I mean? So it's it's one of those things that have been interesting between what, you know, companies were saying and what people were saying and what the actual numbers are. But I believe, in my opinion, you know, you have people that have found their so-called true calling and what they want to do. They've opened up businesses for their own. Some people are rather working from home, and now the people have the power in their hand, because, you know, you have companies looking for work, so people can pick and choose where they want to go depending on what you're doing. So even as you see it all over, the minimum wage is being raised, or, you know, you have a lot of jobs that are, you know, raising their wages, you know, to try to bring on workers. But I'm going to also say it like this: when you have less workers, less dollars circulating, that means less growth in the economy. But also, as well, even though let's say your demand can stay the same or be even more, but you don't have people to produce that much of an item because people have dropped out of the market. You don't have enough people to work certain transportation areas because now you can't get the item, you know, quicker like you'd like to, you know, to the store or whatever, meaning you're gonna have inflation. So, you know, that's why you see a high inflation when it comes to certain commodities, if not the majority of them. Because the less people that are in, you know, the work environment, you know what I mean? And of course, you're going to have you have companies having higher wages. So, which means prices are going to be higher for certain items. So you have a lot of things going on that's, you know, kind of, you really don't know what's going to happen, as, you know, like you see certain prices just keep doing this, keep doing this, keep doing this. You see what I'm saying? Now, mind you, I am not no economist. I am not an analysis. I'm just looking things in simple terms from the way I am seeing them as a consumer myself. As I go to the store and I am, you know, buying my groceries, and I see my grocery bill is $200 for like 10 items, which it used to be $100 for 10 items. It's like, really? Well, I'm exaggerating, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, the price is kind of up there. So, you know, I've paid attention a lot to my surroundings for what I'm paying for. Hence why, you know, I'm telling people to get involved into investing, so that you have those tangible assets that can appreciate. Even if there is not an inflationary period, your assets can still appreciate over time. That dollar doesn't appreciate, but your assets will. And if you have consistent cash flow from your assets, or some type of cash flow, that is always good as well. Like I said, when you have an asset that just keeps growing, you know, retail, you know, or you saw what they say, stock commodities, I mean, you know, you're still going to make money or like I said, your assets are still going to grow. It's just that dollar is not worth as much. You see what I'm saying? So having cash flow, in my opinion, having cash flow is the key. Multiple ways of getting income. That's always the key. And reinvesting it where your assets keep having value. Yes, you have your rainy day fund or whatever you want to do, but you don't have a whole bunch of cash you sitting on that's just being devalued. Like it makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the stock market now, like what happened in 2020 with the stock market, and you looked at certain stocks, there are some people that there's a lot of people that got out in the market, but you had some people that got in the market at the right time who has made a lot of money in the past couple years because of the situation that's going on. Hence why, if you can get invested, if you're looking to do some type of business, or you're trying to purchase certain type of assets, property wise, whatever the case may be, you know, it's something to look into, because that is not going to depreciate. You know what I mean? So that's just my 2 cents. All right. So obviously I've talked about, all right, so now we're going to move on to the cannabis sector. Obviously I've talked about this before. Cannabis is a $1 billion industry, and it is to the moon. They want to talk about, you know, a industry that's going to the moon. This is one of them. Now, unfortunately, what sucks is American companies in the cannabis industry cannot participate in the New York Stock Exchange. But what's messed up is foreign countries can participate in the New York Stock Exchange, because obviously due to regulations. Now, of course, Canada's, you know, marijuana companies are on the are in the New York Stock Exchange. You know what I mean? We're gonna see some examples of that here shortly, but I just wanted to let y'all know that that industry is a very booming industry, and once they unlock, you know, and let these companies, American companies, participate in the stock exchange, once federal regulation is either gone or better than what it is now, to allow these companies to progress. Because as of right now, the states are legalizing it left and right. And so you have these big, huge companies positioning themselves where, you know, once the word is go, then it's just going to take off even more. Because right now, obviously, you can't even, if you're an American cannabis company, you can't even keep your money in a bank. Hey, you know, who wants to have all that cash on hand? For what reason? You know what I mean? So, you know, until the federal government comes down with some laws to help to kind of make things easier, you know what I mean? It's going to be rough. But regardless of the fact, the company, that industry is still going to go higher. You have a number of companies that are turning positive in the industry. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, let's look at just a few stocks here. I'm looking at a few myself. As we go through, I'll let you guys know which ones I'm looking at. Y'all give me a second. All right. So, okay, so let's see. 7 best marijuana stocks to buy for 2022. This is not me. This is what this guy is saying. This article is from December 14th, not that long ago. So, all right. So let's look at Tilray. Now, I remember Tilray because Tilray, they had a merger with another company, and they're also looking to, they're also doing drinks as well, a brewing company. So Congress will, here comes the this again. No, I don't want to sign up for it. But The company, let's see. For investors committed to long-term investments that will pay off for federal legalization, a company like Tilray is making the right moves to indicate a clear long-term vision for what a post-prohibition cannabis company might look like. Of course, they have the distillery now, and they also have a merger. I forgot who they merged with because I did a segment on them a while back. So right now, I believe their shares are like $7 or something. So if you're looking to participate, because like I said, it's not on a New York Stock Exchange. I believe it's OTC. So when it comes to some of these stocks, but check them out for yourself if you're interested in investing. I'm personally paying very close attention. Like I said, the one cannabis REIT, IIPR, has like I said, I remember the day when that thing was $100. Now it's taken off to over $200 a share and gives a hefty dividend. See what I'm saying? So okay, so we have Tilray. Next we have True Live. Now True Live is all over Florida. That's one thing I can say. True Live has been growing, and they have been buying up. I just did a segment on them. They just bought up like 27 properties, I believe. So, no, I don't want to get off of there. But here we go. Not everyone thinks investing in cannabis industry has to be predicted on federal legalization. The key investing in cannabis 2022 is to stop waiting for the federal government to do anything and pick companies that can attract capital because they've proven solid management and created a dominant position to operate successfully in a state-by-state environment. And yes, True Live is definitely one of them. Like I said, Arizona, Florida. I know they have a lot of spots in Florida. And Pennsylvania has attracted potential cannabis investment. Like I said, a lot of these cannabis companies are turning a positive profit. So even though the stock might not reflect of what they're making, eventually once the floodgates open, you want to be there right at entry, because there was a time where there was a lot of hype going on, and then of course it died off, with some of these stock mentions. But like I said, on regardless of what the stock regardless of the stock price, people are still investing and buying into some of these companies. Of course, you have Curaleaf. Let's see what they're saying. During the third quarter, this consumer cannabis product company brought in more than $317 million in revenue, a year-over-year gain of 74%, but its loss widened roughly from $9 million last year to $57 million this year, as a tax on interest and other expenses outweighed higher operating income. As the largest publicly traded marijuana company, Curaleaf has advantages than smaller players don't. Bigger names in the industry are better placed. But yep, Curaleaf is another one. I know Canopy growth is a big one that they talk about. Of course, you have Aurora Cannabis. In the most recently quarter report, this medical and recreational cannabis company reported its medical cannabis net revenue of 23% year over year to $41 million, making it 70% of its total sales. Its international medical sales were particularly impressive, rising 146%. Man, it's some high numbers. All these companies having some very high numbers when it comes to, here we go, Canopy growth. You know what I mean? They also got Canopy has also established partnership with Constellation Brands as a powerhouse in alcohol industry. So you're gonna see cannabis also bringing forward drinks as well, as you read from Tilray. Tilray is they have their deal in Colorado. You got Canopy linking up with Constellation Brands. So you have a lot of cannabis items, of course, hitting the market, coming out. These companies, like I said, they're making marijuana is $1 billion industry, and it's only gonna go higher. So I'm only doing this because I know I've said this before, and I wanted to do a follow-up on these type of stocks. Like I said, the only one that I know that gives dividend is IIPR, which is the REIT. But if you're looking to get into like on a low end, right now, all these stocks are pretty much, right on the low end. So if you're looking to take a risk, that is on you. I'm not telling you to take a risk to get into these companies. I'm just showing you that, what these companies are doing, what it's looking like. You can go up and look up the stock ticker for yourself. I'm giving you the companies. You see the stock tickers up there. Do what's best for your portfolio, because I know myself, I am looking closely at Tilray. I'm looking closely at True Live and Canopy myself. So, all right, what we got for number 7? We have OGI Organigram Holdings. See what else. I don't really know much about them. I know about the others, but not really about this. Kronos Group, I know about them. Constellation Brands is the only stock to invest in industry in 2019. The Altria Group MO, and I am a stock. I have shares in the Altria Group. Altria Group is also broke off from Philip Morris. You know what I mean? So completed the purchase of a 45% stake in Kronos Group, became the largest stakeholder in $1.8 billion investment. The deal came right behind to buy the controlling stake in the company. See, and that's the thing. I'm in Altria Group, but Kronos is one I am possibly looking at only because the investment that was being made. And I'm telling you, you're going to have companies investing in marijuana. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Pharmaceutical companies might not like it. So, but I mean, marijuana, medicinal and recreational is here to stay. It's just a matter of time before the government makes changes eventually. But until then, these companies are going to be making money. And they're taxing. See, the funny part is they're taxing the heck out of these cannabis companies. And they still, some of them are making profit. So imagine if they let the dogs out. Boy, oh boy. All right, so as they're looking at it, the 7 best cannabis stocks to buy: Tilray, True Live, Curaleaf, Aurora, Canopy Group, Organigram, and Kronos. Like I said, take a look at those companies. Make sure you check the balance sheets. Look where it's at. Obviously, and I give you an example like Tesla. Tesla's been around for years, and it's just now hitting real heavy when it comes to EV. You know what I mean? EV vehicles have been around quite a bit, or the talk of them. You see what I'm saying? But even then, with the stock and everything the way it is, people weren't really much into EVs. Now with the whole ESG, I believe that is what it's called, ESG, and the whole movement of, people want a greener environment and they want better for the earth. You have a lot of people looking more towards electrical vehicles, but like I said this last time, you're still going to need fossil fuels to build these electric vehicles. Let's just be real about this. Oil ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? It might be used in conjunction with everything else so that you are very dependent on it, but still, regardless, I think, fossil fuels is still going to be a plays a role regardless of the fact. Even EVs, or however environmental friendly they want these companies to be. Now, obviously, I'm not being a stick in the mud. I'm just being real with, looking at it from, a perspective. These factories and certain items that are being built cannot be built strictly by solar power, by wind power. Mother Nature don't give you that much to offset, certain things that, what I mean, power wise, running some of these factories. You know what I mean? So, but it is still a good alternative. You know, electric vehicles are. So, all right. So let's go to the Yahoo ticker today to see what the market was looking at. S&P was down today. The Dow ran up heavily today. Nasdaq, whew, yikes, what dropped pretty heavy. The Russell was up today. Like I said, my portfolio did pretty good, and one highlight I want to highlight is IBM. I would like to highlight IBM. Why? Because I talked about IBM when it was $1.23, and I'm going to pull up the chart on IBM, because when I bought IBM, it was down here. This is where I bought IBM, right there. And I sold some, what did I sell? Energy stocks. I sold some energy stocks to get into IBM, because IBM was a reasonable price, and it's still at a discount right now compared to all the other companies that it falls in line with. You know what I mean? I think IBM is still a solid company, and you see the run up of it today. Right now, like I said, I got IBM like right about here, about 120 something. And at the end of the day today, it's at 138. That's what you call buying in at the right time, when you believe in a product or you believe in a company, you know, that can make moves, especially a well-established company like IBM. So I just wanted to put that out there. You know what I mean? Not every success or stock that you buy is going to be a winner, but I'm glad I did this one. I'm glad I cut back energy in reference to IBM. I even, like I said, you guys saw the portfolio. I even got into Cisco. I got into Intel as well. So, and all those stocks are doing pretty decent for what I got in. So, but yo, what's going on there, Headhunter? What's going on there, Chaotic? Yeah, appreciate that follow there, Chaotic, man. If you guys got any questions, sorry about that. I'm just now looking at the chat, because when I'm on the laptop, I don't have the chat up, so I can actually look at the graphs. What's going on, y'all? Welcome. Hopefully y'all having a good day. Like I said, I don't mean to ignore y'all, so, but I wanted to go through the segment about what's going on today. If you guys got any questions, man, y'all let me know. Like I said, I am not a economist. You know, I'm not a financial advisor. You know what I mean? I just give my opinions just from a consumer, a normal guy that's just trying to make moves in the market, looking at certain assets, doing this, doing that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, that's pretty much all the material that I wanted to cover today. So if y'all got any questions, man, y'all let me know. Like I said, we can look at the markets. Like I said, IBM was one. Actually, let's look at one of those. I believe Tilray. Let's look at Tilray, one of those marijuana stocks I talked about earlier. See, right now Tilray is at $7.11. Let's look at what the chart's saying for year to date. Oh, well, as you can see right there, sorry. As you can see how Tilray has fallen way below. Now, like I said, it's not just this. You have quite a few marijuana stocks that have fallen short. So if you're looking to take a small risk, now is a good time to look in to get in. So I believe True Live is like $24 a share. So I mean, is it a risk we're taking? That depends on you and your point of view. So me personally, like I said, I'm trying to get my foundation set on dividend stocks. So that's what I'm looking at right now, is getting the dividend stock set. Hence why, when I sold out of, not sold out of, but when I sold part of my energy stock to go into more, a little technology, not, like heavy into, because Microsoft is expensive. I keep talking about Apple. Apple is a good stock to buy, but I wasn't into Apple when it was $119 a share. Now Apple is almost $180 a share, back up again. So, obviously Apple is going to be a $3 trillion company, which, Apple has more in its market cap than the majority of the countries in the world when it comes to their GDP. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you bought into Apple when it was like 112 and you bought Apple most of your life, you breaking bread. You know what I'm saying? You was definitely breaking bread. So, I just seen a thing where Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, their stake in Apple now is like 162 billion with all the stock that they have. So that's insane. I mean, they've been stockpiling Apple forever. Same thing with Coca-Cola. That's another thing I wanted to look at. I got into Coca-Cola when Coca-Cola was low. And let me tell you, Coca-Cola is Pepsi is higher in stock, but I think Coca-Cola is gonna be $100 stock in the future. And I definitely want to make sure I get into Coca-Cola on the dips. I bought into Coca-Cola when it was low. That was also one of my early stocks that I bought in. But Coca-Cola definitely is looking good, man. I'm telling you. I bought in at a low end. So, yo, appreciate the love there, Wazdi. Hey, look, if you guys need any kind of transitions, any kind of intros, outros, talk to that wonderful lady Wazdi, Nikki. You guys see her on Twitter, always posting all that beautiful work that she does. She's definitely done work for me. Obviously I can't really show those intros because it gets muted. They were beautiful intros, and definitely I'm gonna have her do another intro for me once I have my business and everything lined up. But shouts out to Wazzy, man. Make sure y'all show them some love. If y'all looking for some intros, hit her up on Twitter. She has her email there, so much love to her. But yeah, Coca-Cola I got into early. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at Coca-Cola right now, let's see what Coca-Cola sitting at. Coca-Cola is sitting at $60 a share right now, which is still pretty fair price compared to Pepsi, because Pepsi, I believe, is at 150, 160 something. So, but I think Coca-Cola is definitely a long-term, steady, good company. They have partnerships all over the blasted place, so I believe I got into Coca-Cola when it was like $50 a share. So, I mean, you just have to pick what companies you want to be in. And like I said, me personally, I'm looking at the dividend perspective of it first. So I do have a few companies here and there that I am taking a chance on. United Wholesale Mortgage is one of them. What else? VOD, the communication services, is one of them as well. So, but I just wanted to show you guys certain stocks that I'm in. Let's look at Cisco. I got into Cisco. I believe Cisco is CSC. Oh, yeah, CSCO. And even though Cisco is down right now, I got into Cisco, I believe. Let me see it on the chart. Where exactly? I got into Cisco right here somewhere. Right down here, right here. At $53 and change. Actually, let me look at my chart. Let me pull up my chart right now on my phone. And I'll tell you guys. I am pointing out these companies to you guys because if you guys have been following me on this journey, you guys have seen me pick these stocks. You guys have seen me invest into these stocks, and they've just been running up. All right, so I got into Cisco at... I got into Cisco at $50 a share. So it was like way down here. So it was actually further than this. Let's go 2 years. So I got into Cisco right here at about right up in there somewhere when it was $50 a share. So yeah, right in that sounds about right in that area. So I have right now I'm up 21% in total gains for Cisco right now, up 21%. IBM, I'm up 11%. What's the other tech that I have? I think it's just those two. And then I bought into Citigroup. I bought into a bank, Citigroup. I bought into Citigroup when it was $59 and change. I'm up 6% there. I need a bank before the interest rates go up, because banks make money when interest rates go up. So I'm trying to see if I can get a financial play other than the United Wholesale Mortgage right now. And IBM, like I said, IBM, or I already told you guys, Coca-Cola. Yeah, I got into Coca-Cola when it was like 53 and change. I'm up 12% on Coca-Cola. So as I'm looking at my phone right now on my on certain stocks. So like I said, I always tell you guys ETFs are the way to go. If you're just looking to invest long term and you don't want to do the research yourself and you just want to look, I just want to set it and forget it. And I will say this every financial corner stream: do ETFs. If you are getting into IRAs, I know some of y'all got 401ks, some of y'all got IRAs. ETFs is the way to go, especially the ETF that blankets the market, SPY, VOO, somewhere in that ballpark. Because in my opinion, and the stats show, because I've already did a series on this, that ETFs, investing in the market, a complete blanket, the S&P 500 over a longer period of time has better gains than individually picking stocks. And that's a fact. If y'all want to see that video, it's on my VOD. I believe the title is ETF in there. So make sure y'all check that out. But get into investing, do your homework, do your research, ask questions. You know what I mean? Knowledge is free. You know what I mean? And over time, if you're looking to grow money, I mean, the market is a good way to set it and forget it type deal. You just put your money in for so long and let it roll. You know what I'm saying? So, but I appreciate everybody coming through, man. I appreciate all the love. If y'all have any questions, obviously you guys can hit me up on my socials. Also, too, here comes a shameless promotion. Here's a shameless promotion. Here's the store. If you guys are looking for anime or anything like that, thefatstacks.com. Check out your boy. Of course, there's a link to the Twitch stream there. Of course, here is the merchandise. Of course, that background stuff that you see was done by, Ruben. Shouts out to Ruben, NYC Ruben, doing your boy some work. Appreciate him out there. But if you guys are looking for any kind of anime merchandise, here you go. I have mugs, I have figurines, backpacks, plush throws, which are like blankets, hats. We have Funko Pops, you know what I mean? TPS Entertainment, man. We trying to bring y'all, my company's trying to bring you guys, everything and anything anime as much as possible. You know, like I said, if you're into Funko Pops, we got plenty of Funko Pops. When it comes to drinkware, I do have a lot of mugs. You know, also heat changing mugs and all that. I'm getting more plushies, so a little plush toys right now. So we getting it up there. We're getting it up there. So I'm not gonna be as big as, you know, anime vendors or whatnot, but I'm trying to bring a whole lot of stuff into one area. So if you guys are looking for anything anime wise, you know, I have it. If you guys have any kind of suggestions, y'all let me know. You know what it is. So, but that's it for your boy. Let's see who we going. Oh, let's see. Let us see who we got. Umi's playing Battlefield. She loves Battlefield over there. Who haven't sent y'all to for a while? I'm gonna send y'all over there to. Looks like Z just got on. All right, y'all give me 1 second, y'all. Let me line this out. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm gonna set up this raid. All right, y'all. So we gonna raid Z. Man, I appreciate the host. Appreciate the love, man. Shouts out to everybody that came through today. Hopefully, you know, y'all was able to find something that interests y'all, something that, you know, you guys can take away from the financial corner today. I appreciate all y'all. Y'all be safe. We gonna go ahead and raid Z. Show Z some love, man. The teammate. Show a little love out there.